Today we're making an avocado and miso dip that is similar to guacamole, but it's different at the same time with the addition of that umami flavor. So as step 1, we're going to cut a large avocado. I mean, the problem with avocados is that they always seem underripe and then they suddenly are overripe, sort of like pears. I mean, these are a bit bruised and I'm cutting off some of the black bits. I'm not sure if you can eat them, but I would rather cut them off. It doesn't look very appetizing if you have black spots in your dip. I mean, this is very ripe. I mean, you probably don't even need a blender to make this dip. I love cooking with avocados. I mean, they're so healthy. They contain good fats and prebiotic fiber, as well as vitamin C, E, K and B6, as well as omega-3 and minerals like magnesium and potassium. I mean, using them in a dip is a great way to introduce them to the kids. When you make something with avocado, it's best to make it fresh because it turns brown quite quickly. And even though you can keep it for 3 days and you can still eat it when it's brown, it's nicer when it still has a green color. The next step is to add a clove of garlic. Now I'll chop it up roughly because it's going in the blender anyway, but if you prefer you can press it when you put it in. I'm using just one. My wife said I could use a bit more, but I'm keeping it mild for the kids. Step 3 is to add the juice of half a lemon. I mean, some people may prefer to use a lime instead, that's fine. I mean, at the end, when you're tasting and seasoning the dip, you may decide to add a bit more juice. And in step 4, we're adding a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. 5 is for one of the stars of the show, the miso paste. So we're going to put 1 teaspoon of the miso paste in. I mean, it smells absolutely amazing. And if you feel like you want to add a bit more, please do. I mean, that's something you can play with based on your preferences. I mean, miso paste consists of fermented beans, I mean usually soybeans, and it's a Japanese staple food. It gives a wonderful umami flavor to many dishes, and it's a source of antioxidants, prebiotic fiber and protein. With the blending, you decide how fine you want the dip to be. I like it when there's still some chunks in the dip, but that is something you can play with. I mean, you can see it's still a little bit chunky. And it's typically, I like that, it needs to have a bit of texture. I'm going to give it one last whiz and then we're there in terms of the consistency of the dip. I've made this before. I mean, people have been diving in with their taco chips or a slice of bread and being pleasantly surprised by the flavor. It is sort of familiar, but it's also different. And I highly recommend you try this. I mean, my kids love this. We're almost there. So we're going to chop up half an onion as fine as possible, and we're going to add that to the mixture. And if there's anything else you want to add, I mean, this would be a good time. You could, for example, chop up a jalapeno pepper or add some toasted pine nuts for additional texture and flavor. In this case, I'm a bit careful to ensure that, the avocado still plays the leading role. I want the miso to be there to support the avocado and the other ingredients to support the main act. I don't want anything to take it over. It still needs to be a really fresh avocado-based dip. And I also want the kids to like it, so I don't want to make it too spicy. It smells amazing. I love this. I mean, it's not just a dip, but you could also like a lovely spread. This is really nice. Oh. I just have it on some toasted sourdough with maybe a little bit of smoked salmon or something like that. Oh, wonderful. This is a perfect dip for adults and kids alike. The miso, mustard or any of the other ingredients are not overpowering. But if you want to add some kick, add some smoked paprika, some chili, some extra miso. And finally, don't forget to season it with some salt and pepper to taste.